You know, usually the very best piece is that corner piece where all of the frosting has kind of collected, because the frosting layer is about that thick. Oh, it's just so good. So this cake is cooled, and I think you can see it's going to cut a very even, nice piece of cake. It is not ooey gooey at all. Ooh, that is a beautiful piece of cake. Oh, there's a little left. I get to eat that. I don't know what it is about Texas chocolate sheet cake. It really is a quintessential Texas recipe, and just about everybody makes Texas chocolate sheet cake. If I were to guess why people make Texas chocolate sheet cake, it's because all of the ingredients are usually in a Texas kitchen. You usually have cocoa in the pantry, flour, sugar, butter, shortening, and yeah, we have buttermilk too. We usually have buttermilk in the fridge, and these are just ingredients that we always just happen to have. I don't know who created this recipe, but God bless you. It is the best recipe for cake. You can have a birthday cake in 25 minutes made absolutely from scratch. Super, super easy. There is one bad thing about this cake, which is not that bad. Well, I mean, it's cake, so you know, you kind of need to regulate how much cake you eat. It is so chocolatey. You'll feel like a hummingbird the rest of the day. You'll just be running at high speed because of all of these chocolate that is in this cake. So, so yummy, but incredibly stimulating. Do we have a state cake like we have a state bird and a state tree in Texas? I think this will be the state cake. I think we have a state pie. I think that's the pecan pie. But Texas chocolate sheet cake should get some kind of certificate. I love the chocolate covered pecans. So delicious. If you read the recipe, you really don't think Texas chocolate sheet cake is gonna work out, because you pour warm liquid over flour. And so you think, well, this is gonna end up with a lot of little dumplings, but it never does. This cake always works out. It's always rich and chocolatey and delicious. It's kind of weird, but it works. Kind of like the state of Texas. We don't know why we're so great, we just are. Hey y'all, I'm Melissa Guerra. I'm the Kitchen Wrangler, and today we're gonna be making Texas chocolate sheet cake. And oh yes, this is a recipe that we make all the time here in Texas. I remembered having this cake when I was growing up, and it was probably one of the first cakes that I ever learned how to make. So let's get started on this very easy recipe. But first you need to make sure that you have all of your ingredients assembled and that you have your oven preheated to 400 degrees, because this cake goes very, very quickly. In a saucepan on the stove, we need to first combine butter, shortening, water, and some cocoa. We're gonna stir it together and bring it to a simmer, just a very light simmer. Once we have our beautiful chocolatey flavor mixture together, now it's time to make the batter. In a large bowl, combine your flour and sugar. We're gonna add some buttermilk that's been mixed with baking soda. Now remember, baking soda reacts with acid, and buttermilk provides us with that acid. And it also makes the cake nice and moist. Stir that together, and now it is time to add our warm chocolate mixture. Now don't worry, I know some of you are thinking, wow, if you're adding warm liquid to flour, you're gonna make like little dumplings. Magically, this recipe does not do that, so proceed with confidence and stir it together. In a separate bowl, crack 2 eggs and whip them lightly, and we're gonna pour that into our batter as well. You can see all those little lumps are breaking up. Oh, and don't forget to add the vanilla. I always add a little bit of extra because it gives it just a little bit of extra flavor. Let's prepare our baking pan. Now, my pan is really old. I've used it for so many cakes. It's pretty beat up. But we're going to just rub the inside with a little bit of vegetable shortening so the cake comes out easily, but you don't have to flour the pan. For the most part, this cake is served directly from the pan. You can also use a non-stick vegetable spray. Pour that gorgeous batter into our prepared pan. Oh, look at that pour, so, so rich and chocolatey. Now we're gonna pop it in the oven for 20 minutes. So while the cake is baking, that is the perfect time to get the frosting together. You have to pour the frosting on top of the cake while the cake is still warm. It pretty much frosts itself. In a separate saucepan, add milk, butter, and cocoa, and stir together. Bring it to a simmer and make sure you stir so it doesn't scorch. Once the mixture simmers, remove it from the heat and add powdered sugar. Now don't worry about all those little lumps of powdered sugar. Those will dissipate with the moisture and the heat of the chocolate mixture. Add your chopped pecans and stir those in, and don't forget to add your vanilla. I almost did. Delicious. Here's our hot cake, fresh from the oven, and we're gonna pour the frosting directly over it and spread it around a little bit. Oh, this smells so good. Now, if you want to serve your cake warm, you can definitely do that. It'll be really ooey and gooey. Or you can have some patience and allow the cake to cool, and it'll serve up in nice, neat little squares. But I'm not a nice, neat little square person. I want the ooey gooey. Well, thanks so much for joining me here at the ranch. Now, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can follow me and get to know all of the recipes that I'd love to share with you. Good old Texas recipes, a little bit of kitchen advice, and maybe a little bit of food history every now and then. You can also follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and you can email me at help@kitchenwrangler.com if you have any questions, you need a little advice, or if you have a recipe request. You know I'm always here waiting in the kitchen to help you out. I'm Melissa Guerra, I'm the Kitchen Wrangler, and I'm looking forward to seeing you here at the ranch again soon. Bye now.